Hey y'all, and welcome to Hair Divinity. My name is Josie, and this is the place where you're going to learn all things hair and scalp. It is my goal to make sure that you know everything you need to know to have the best hair and scalp of your life. Again, welcome to my channel. My name is Josie, and I am a trichologist. And for those of you who do not know what a trichologist is, I have a video up about that. But in short, I am a hair and scalp expert, and I have the extensive knowledge and training to help you overcome any conditions like dandruff, dermatitis, hair loss, etc. So here at Hair Divinity in Dallas, Texas, I see only guests who have scalp conditions and hair loss. So I've seen it all. I've seen all types of hair loss, all types of scalp conditions, and I've been able to help hundreds of women and men regrow their hair and heal their scalp. So today we'll be specifically talking about hair loss and if you're experiencing hair loss, if your hair can grow back or not. Now, I get this question a lot, particularly because there are so many people suffering from hair loss at the time and they're not quite sure what to do. The first thing people think to do is Google hair growth products, and I have a whole lecture about that and if it's even worth exploring. But what I do want to make known is that hair loss is an internal thing. Internal, which means it starts from the inside out. So logically, if you don't address what's happening on the inside, then how can you expect hair regrowth? So I do want to break down to you the different forms and different types of hair loss so that you can discover which category you fall into and what you need to do next as far as figuring out are your plans and if your hair can grow back or not. So I do want to share with you the two main types of hair loss and how you can discover what your options are based on which one of these categories you fall into. So if you've been experiencing hair loss and want to get a little bit more information about what your options are, then stay tuned. We have two different forms of hair loss, one called scarring and one called non-scarring. And within both of these categories, there falls different types of hair loss. So I'm not going to go into the different types specifically. However, I do want to explain what scarring versus non-scarring hair loss or alopecia is. First, we have non-scarring alopecia. Non-scarring alopecia is simply temporary hair loss. This means that hair loss in this category has the potential to grow back. Scarring alopecia is permanent hair loss, and within this type of hair loss, the follicles are scarred, which means scar tissue grows over them and it prohibits any new hair growth. Scarring alopecia generally starts, like I said, with inflammation, and that inflammation is that itch you get. A lot of times people experience that itch, but they don't realize that it is related to hair loss. That means hair loss is in the process of starting to form. So anytime that you feel that little itch and you feel like you're beginning to lose hair, that's a sign that inflammation is present, and inflammation can lead to scarring. So the quicker you get in front of the inflammation, the quicker we can save your follicles and make sure that don't get into burnout phase. This simply means that your follicles have burned out and there is no place or no anything there for new hair to form. So generally, if you have scarring alopecia, you may have a bald spot that is shiny or it started to become like tight and tough. Generally, these forms of hair cannot grow back. However, it really is a case-by-case basis. I've seen people who have scarring alopecia still grow hair back, or it grows in some areas and some areas don't grow back. So each individual is different. So if you happen to have scarring alopecia, it isn't the end all be all. How do you know if you have scarring alopecia? Well, like I said, there are a few physical symptoms that you can look at, or physical characteristics, like I said, the shininess or the hard bald spots. But you can also get a biopsy done by a dermatologist. A biopsy pretty much takes a piece of your skin, sends it under a microscope, and it determines the type of hair loss you have, particularly if it's scarring or non-scarring. So back to non-scarring. Temporary alopecia. This is pretty much caused by a sickness, or let's say postpartum. That means your body has shifted temporarily and caused your hair growth cycle to become disoriented. So instead of being in the growth phase, you may be in the hair loss phase, which means you'll lose more hair until your body recalibrates and gets back to normal. This is why generally women who have postpartum hair loss, or anyone who goes through types of treatments or medical treatments or anything like that, their hair typically does grow back. Now it does take some time, however, once the body gets back balanced, the hair does tend to come back. It does help to have a protocol though to help your hair along the way. So making sure that you are using the proper topical agents, as well as supplementing your body with things that are going to help reduce inflammation as well as fuel hair growth. Generally, the longer you've been experiencing the hair loss, the more likely you may have experienced scarring. So let's just say you bought all these different types of hair growth products and none of them really work. Two things: you may have scarring alopecia, or you're just not getting to the root cause of your hair loss, right? Hair loss begins, say it together, from the inside out. Inside out. So there's no amount of hair growth oil that you can put on your scalp that's going to override what's going on in your body. So I always tell people, we're going to look inside first to see where you are deficient, and then move some things around to see how we can get your hair to grow back. Now, I am not a medical professional. I don't take blood work here, but I do read blood work. So if you have blood work, you can get it sent to me, and we will do something called a blood chemistry analysis. Now, this is a process that is different than the blood work you get from your regular doctor. It goes way deeper and breaks down each system of your body and tells us where you are operating. So there is no guesswork. There is no throwing random vitamins at you. It tells us exactly what your body needs. So look at it like your body's report card. It tells us exactly what's optimal, what's not optimal, and what we should do to get you back optimal. And when you are back optimal, that's when your hair can start to grow back. Hopefully, if you do not have any scarring present. Again, like I said earlier, sometimes there may be scarring in a few areas, but the hair can grow back around it, which will camouflage the particular area. So sometimes we may not be able to get everything back, but something is better than nothing. So depending on the category you're in, sometimes the results are worth it, and honestly, sometimes they're not. So it really just depends on how long you've been experiencing this type of hair loss, and if there's any place for us to go in to begin to reverse and stimulate new hair. So to answer the question at hand here, can your hair grow back? The answer is yes, unless you have scarring alopecia, which generally means it's permanent. However, that does not mean that's the same for every case. So I always recommend that if you are wanting to grow your hair back, to ditch all the products on TikTok and all the things that promise you all these different results, but actually get with a practitioner and someone that can help you understand what's really going on, so we can save you time and money and get right to it. You can see a dermatologist, or you can find a trichologist in your area. If you don't have a trusted trichologist in your area, there's always me. I do offer virtual consultations, which you can find the link to down below. I know that experiencing hair loss can never be easy. Our hair is tied to so much of our identity. That's why I became a trichologist, to make sure that I have the answers that no one else seemed to have. So again, I am here. I am available. Make sure you continue to check out the channel, because I have so much more information to share with y'all. I hope everything in this video made sense for you, but if it did not, please leave your question below and I'll be sure to get to you. Also, if there are any topics you would like me to cover here on the channel, drop those below as well. I love sharing this information with y'all, and it is so important that we get this information out so that we can change the industry and begin to heal more hair. Again, I am Josie and I am signing out. I'll see y'all on the next video. Bye.